Okay, so today I'm going to turn this wire into a lanyard for an AEP pistol. It comes in one piece. I'll link it in the description. I ordered twice the length I need so I could cut it in half. I have an extra one in case I ever want to make another. I have just finished one side. Plug turned out like that. Pretty decent. A little jank, but that's okay. First thing you want to do, obviously cut it in half if you get the too long, and then it's easier on this side, but you want to find the line between the two wires and get a very sharp X-Acto knife and split between the wires. You can go slow, but go about 1 inch down. That way you have enough length so that you can pull the covering back and solder to your connector. So now that it's been cut in half like that, I'm going to pull the black sheath off of it and try and bend them backwards. Then I'm going to take some electrical tape and tape them back so that they're out of the way. Okay, so I pulled it back and I just taped it into place real quick, and now we have the two wires. I'm going to strip the end of both just enough to cover the contacts, and then we'll solder. Okay, now the ends are stripped, it's time to tin the wires. Now that the ends of the wires are tinned, and same with the connector, I'm going to slip it into the other side so that it doesn't melt and get askew while I am soldering it. Okay, so be careful with solder, it's always very hot, but now I'm going to wrap between each line with a bit of electrical tape. You could try doing heat shrink, but there's not enough length behind it, so it'll probably just shrink due to the heat around it. So just pass it through and wrap it around. Now that right there is pretty okay, but now we're going to take the sheath, unwrap it, and then rewrap it around here just to add more stability. Okay, and that is that. It's now both ends of the wire fit good. They're very strong connections, so you're not going to be fraying or snapping this wire. The way I'm going to do it is having the straight portion go to the pistol and the curved portion go to the battery in a front pouch. That way the pistol can sit along my hip and I can still pick it up and maneuver it. I was going to print some locks to keep these plugs from pulling out because they're going to be moving around a bunch and I don't want the AEP to unplug in the middle of a game. That would not be great. But I couldn't find any online, at least no 3D printable files, so I came up with two designs. This one was inspired by one I saw on the internet, and it locks very securely around the plug. It is just this shape right here. These are the two locking pieces, and this just gives it more room to bend. Without this, it just snaps. And they go through, if you have the wires like this, they go through the gap right here between the wires, like that. You should probably print this a little bit thinner to fit through some of the other wirings, but I will demonstrate it right here. So you want to put one side in through the gap and then start to leverage this side open. It takes a bit of force, but eventually you'll get it over that edge then just get it to slip through the two, and it will clip together. And that sound means that it's locked. There is no way these are coming apart with them locked like this. Taking it apart is a little easier. It opens up pretty nice, and you just leverage the plugs out and slide it out. So that's how this one works. But as you can see, I taped over that gap, so I can't use that style on this one. So I came up with a different style. This one is, I don't know, I think it's maybe a little weaker than the one down here, but it's more versatile. You can use it on more connections. So you start with the small side. You'll see there's a short side and a long side. The short side goes for the short connector. That would be the male one. And then you push it through until that little lip catches underneath the back of the plug. Awesome. Now that is seated. And then you're going to want to push the female plug into the longer section. That way their connection is covered by this bar. And you'll start with it leveraged up, and you'll push it through. And then you just want to push both clips up into position. I could make it a little bit looser, but I didn't want to give anywhere for the plug to go. So now it's locked. Those are also not coming apart. The way you get this one out is about as easy as the other one. You just leverage this clip down a bit and then pull the plug out. You have to do it while leveraging, so it's a little bit harder. And there it goes. You can leave the other one inserted into the lock if you want, so it gives it just a nice little place you can clip in and out. Or you can take the entire lock off when you're not using it. And that is that.